We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
Oh,
Okay.
you slipped it in just in time
Ha!
before it finished. Boy, that's really good.
I'm
That
not
could really,
saying the line. I'm not saying the
yeah.
line. I think everybody out there is going, yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, first of all, apologies to our YouTube uh, contingent that I totally blanked on posting the video on Sunday. So I had just put it out yesterday, I think, right?
Well, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The crazy thing is, I actually drove by the studios and there were people outside with pitchforks and axe handles
Wow. Did not realize that
and
would be the
burning
case.
each of us in effigy.
Wow. Yeah, for those who don't know, I drove on Friday. I drove from Charlotte, North Carolina, all the way to Fort Myers, Florida. I honked Dave as I got on to, was it
Excuse me?
295 around Jacksonville?
You honked me?
Yeah, I honked at you.
I
Uh,
thought you said you went 10 to 301.
well, I did 295 to 10 to 301 to
Oh, so you
75.
crossed the
Is that
Buckman
the
Bridge.
bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what that was. So I honked when I thought I was in your neck of the
Yeah,
woods.
close enough.
All right. Um, and then on the way, I
No,
was there, I got there Friday night.
you gotta tell the story.
Yeah. Well, then I went, I was, my brother was down there. So I went to meet up with him and take care of some family stuff. And then on the way back, I had to deliver stuff to the great city of Bunnell, Florida, very close to our Mr. Pat Kelly, borders Palm Coast,
Who's in
right there.
Bunnell?
An uncle of mine that I had to deliver some of the stuff from Fort Myers to. So I stayed there Monday night. I got there around dinner time Monday night and left early Tuesday morning and made the remainder of the trip back. So, but when I got on the highway and I was at the Palm Coast exit, I did honk for Pat Kelly as well. So if you heard a horn, Mr. Kelly, that's what that was.
We've got a listener email. We've got to touch base with him in a little bit, but
All
he was
right.
pointing something out to correct us. But you can't escape. You've had another window fiasco. You got to share.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was just thinking about what. So this is thank God it happened in southern Florida, being that we had a cold wave over the last weekend, throughout the southeast. But I was going down 75. I was about 30 minutes north of Tampa, and three lanes, 75. I'm in the middle one, just kind of cruising along, listen to a podcast. And out of nowhere, an explosion goes off in the back of the van, which sounds like an explosion in the back of the van. I mean, everything happened so fast that I'm still trying to recall how my mind was rationalizing everything that was going on. But so I heard, and I remember looking kind of at my phone, like, is that coming from my phone? This is all happening within 2 seconds, right? And I scrouched down because I'm like, I hear this explosion. And within the first 5 seconds, first thing I do is make sure I'm staying in my lane on the road. I'm like weaving all over the place, but I hear all this wind, and so I'm driving the minivan because I was picking up a bunch of stuff, and the back window. So there's the passenger window, where you ride passenger next to the driver. Then there's
Yeah.
a side window on the side door, and then there's a third window for the very back seat, and it had exploded just out of nowhere, just into pieces. And all the winds rushing in and everything. And of course, when you have one window open at 70 miles an hour, you get that thumping,
Yeah.
air
Yeah.
pressure going on. So
Make you
I
sick.
quickly checked the lanes next to me, and I head to the right side, and I'm like, all right, I'll get off. In my head, I'm like, I need to pull over. And I don't want to stop on the highway just because it doesn't appear to be affecting the drivability of the car. So I'm like, let me get to the next exit. And luckily it's right there. And then the thought crosses my mind, well, if if someone drove by and or shot the window out or whatever, they would expect you to pull over at the next exit. So I'm thinking to myself, crap, I wonder if, if I'm being set up for something. So by this time, I'm already on the exit ramp when that thought crosses my mind. So I stop at the very top of the exit ramp because I'm thinking, okay, if they're waiting for me down at the bottom somewhere or in a parking lot next to it where, you'd normally pull down, turn to the right or whatever and pull in a parking lot. I stop at the very top and I'm like, all right, they're going to have to come up an exit ramp if that is the deal. So,
and when you say there, you're talking about Canadians, right?
Yes, exactly. I am in southern Florida during wintertime. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Rogue Canadians could be up to who knows the shenanigans
they're up to. They'd want me to drink a beer or something like that.
So what make and model is this van? Maybe our listeners have had this problem before.
I did Google it later on. It's a 2011 Toyota Sienna.
No,
and I did read that there have been instances of this. The only thing I can figure is it's kind of like a vent window where the very back of it, you push a button in the back. It doesn't roll up and down, but it will
pushes
open.
Out.
Yeah, it pushes out. And the only thing I can think of, because I didn't find any bullet casings or rocks, and in fact, the majority of the glass went out of the car instead of in. I didn't have that much to clean up inside, considering the size of the window. So the only thing I can think of is the mechanism that pulls it back in, maybe, and it does it through a hole in the window, right? It's like a buttonhole on it. All I can think of is maybe some fatigue. It is an older van. We've put over 200,000 miles on it. And
so maybe the motor was drawn on the window.
Yeah, something, or the little fatigue crack appeared in the glass, and just because it's that tempered glass, when it breaks, it explodes.
Yeah.
And so can't cut yourself on it or something like that. So yeah, it just, if I had been had a turtle been poking its head out, I would have finished the job in my pants at that point. So
I think the moral of the story is, if you see Woody on the highway, don't get behind him.
Yes, my son lost his sunroof window while I was in the car. We never know what happened to that one. We never saw the end of that one. At least I have to expect people behind me saw like the side of the window just going out and flying all over the place.
Maybe they thought they were in a movie or something. You were like,
I don't know. It wasn't
low budget film.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly busy, but it was still daylight enough and busy enough that people had to see it. I was fully expecting someone to pull off behind me as well, like, hey, you're like, you okay, or anything like that.
I do my own stunts. I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no one did, or the people that pulled off saw that I was okay and just, got back on the other side or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe people are just unfriendly in Florida. And
it's the Canadians, I'm telling you. They're a wild bunch. So I noticed you got crafty. You went to the local hardware store. Did you go 5/8, half inch?
I went a 1/2 inch piece of plywood, and then I put so I had plenty of time. So regardless, I still had 2.5 hours to go, and there was no immediate fix to this, right? So luckily it was 66 degrees outside down there. So I got back up. I got on the highway, right back on the highway again. Because I had just stopped at a rest stop. I was good for the rest of the trip, so I didn't need anything. So I just got right back on the highway, got up to 75 miles an hour, we'll say, and I had to tune the windows up and down to get rid of that thumping sound in the car. So once I got that going, I was fine. And then I turned the heat on the floor on the car to keep it just relatively. But needless to say, it was very loud in the car.
So I called you at what time? When I called, how soon had it happened? I mean,
about 5 minutes prior. I had just gotten back on the highway, and I'm like, "There's no way I'm talking over all this noise in the car."
So mind you, I'm talking to him, and he's screaming, "I can't talk because my window's been blown out."
Yeah, you're like, "Okay,
honey, we got to fire up the chopper. We're gonna go get Woody."
Yeah. got to come down and pick me up. Yeah. So the next day, that was the first thing I did. I went and got a piece of, a half-inch piece of plywood. I got 2 8-inch carriage bolts and put 2 1x2s inside, top to bottom, over the window, and just pulled pulled the plywood tight.
So it's extruded over the frame so that the bolts can draw it in.
Okay. And I was able to make it tight enough that my trip home with that apparatus worked. I was a little skeptical. Getting back up to speed.
You're going to hit a bump. It's going to shift, and a piece of plywood's going to go down with lag bolts in it.
Right. I was considering that in my thought process. I'm like, good Lord, the people I get hurt doing this. But
you better tie a bungee cord to the inside.
Right. Well, I was luckily there was 2 boards on the inside, so if one cracked, I would have enough time probably to slow down and pull over. But yeah, it lasted all the way home, and Safelite. I was scheduled Safelite to be here today, and it was taken care of before I even got home from work today.
Oh, they already replaced your window?
Yeah, I got home last night, and I had scheduled them for today. So
wow.
I was surprised they had a 2011 rear window ready. So you wonder how frequently those go, that they had one relatively in stock.
I think they probably sold a lot of that model. So there's probably a lot
14. Well, yeah, it's true. I would say that's 14 years ago, but that window could be still being used on today's Siennas for all I know. So the same size and fit and everything, but it had an antenna in it and stuff. All I know, it was another $600 added to the trip. But
well, a guy like you, healed like you are.
It's like, that's pocket change.
What's $600 between friends?
Yeah.
About $600.
Yeah, exactly. $600.
All right. Well, you're safe. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And, oddly enough, maybe because I was so pessimistic about the trip, about the length of the trip and the time spent, that the driving wasn't that bad. I made my first Buc-ee's stop.
Did you get
some I asked you if I should. No, I figured, you know what? I needed gas. I needed to go to the bathroom, and I needed to eat. And I think all 3 were, and Buc-ee's was 20 miles away. So I'm like, well, why don't I just do all 3? If the line's not out to the highway, I said, if I see any kind of line, I ain't stopping, at least there. And so I'm like, why not? And I was able to add a 4th task to the stop, which was Christmas shopping. So I took care of I took care of a little Christmas shopping at Buc-ee's while I was in there, getting my lunch and going to the bathroom and getting gas.
Can't go wrong with that.
No. So, so that was, Buc-ee's, you want to advertise? Maybe, me and Dave would be happy to bring you on board for free gas.
They're probably thinking, sales are down and they need some more coverage.
Right. And I don't even know which one I stopped at, to be honest with you. Somewhere in Georgia. So
there you go.
But one other, a few observations, if you will, before we get off this topic. I wrote down, this was early on in the trip, but entering South Carolina, there was a sign, like a plywood sign nailed to a tree off the highway that said, "Save me, Jesus." Yeah.
That's the bourbon talking.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that was a big gulp.
I thought you don't drink bourbon, you sip it.
That was a big sip.
So,
that was the Holy Spirit right there.
So it said, "Save me, Jesus." So I'm thinking to myself, it was a fairly nice sign too. It wasn't one that had been there for 20 years or whatever. So I was like, all right, well, that's kind of weird.
From all the flying glass, apparently.
Yeah, well, and that hadn't occurred yet. So, but save me, Jesus. It's usually Jesus saves, or, ask Jesus for forgiveness, but it was save me, Jesus. So
was it an illegally posted sign?
Well, it seemed that way because it seemed to be off the high. It was beyond the deer fence. You know how they put that fence up to keep livestock out, and it was on a tree there. But maybe they got permission from the land. But so I thought that was a one-off, and I went down the road I went down the road a little further, and I didn't write down the next one. So then another one appears, but this one is a little bit more prominent. It was like, Jesus, forgive my sins. And so I was like, well, is that the same piece of property, just like, 1,000 acres or something like that? And it's the one owner or what have you. But then the farther I get into South Carolina, by the time I get to Columbia, which is about the middle of the state, it's full billboards at this point on the highway about this. And I'm like, well, who's writing? Is it one person that's committed a crap load of sins and is looking for, this is the way of gaining, not evangelizing, but trying, because it was all I don't know what tent. Yeah. Is this one person's confession? Because everything was written. I don't think it's the first person. What do they call it? When it was all "Save me, Jesus, forgive my sins, Jesus." But isn't that when you say your name, like Eric likes chocolate? That's first person, or Woody likes chocolate. Excuse me.
Jimmy likes the ball.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy likes Elaine. Yeah. So I don't know what tense it is, but I felt they were all if they were evangelizing, isn't that in the wrong tense?
Well, I don't know that grammar gets into it at that point when you're illegally nailing something to a
Well,
tree.
No, I told you at one point it was full on billboards, so they're obviously doing something.
There was a campaign years ago, and it was written in the language that God was speaking to the person. Okay. And it was like these 2-3 word sentences, like "I love you," but it was from the position of God. Hang on a second. Let's Alexa, are you aware of any roadside signs in South Carolina? Jesus save me, Jesus forgive me.
Yes, South Carolina has many roadside signs with religious messages. They often say things like Jesus saves or repent.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That's what the most religious signs say it in that context. But and I couldn't take a picture because every time I was just surprised by them. And then, of course, to get the phone out of the holder, get it on camera, and take a picture as you're wheeling down the road at 75 miles an hour wasn't my best thing to do at that time, especially with windows blowing out and things of that nature.
Well,
but I just kind of thought it funny. I'm picturing.
Did it speak to you?
Well, I'm a somewhat religious person, as you know, so it did captivate my interest, but more in the sense of I'm just picturing one dude just really feeling guilty about something and spending all this money and time just in the hopes that maybe Jesus or God is driving down I-70, I-77 and see, because hey, all right, John, you're forgiven.
I gotcha.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, you might want to work on the tense of your message there. So
okay, I have nothing to input there. I think our assistant helped out as much as we could.
And speaking of keeping your eyes on the road, I also saw a number of billboards. Obviously, you know what a PSA is, right? Well, obviously, we talked about that on here.
Yeah.
Public service. Sure. A number of PSA billboards saying "Keep your eyes on the road." I'm like, what the hell?
Quit texting. Get out there.
It's like, well, it's better to keep your eyes on the road. Well, then don't put a huge billboard up that makes me take my eyes off the road.
Which is it?
Yeah, exactly. What do you want me to do here?
What's going on in South Carolina? What's the
well, that's not just South Carolina. That was throughout the states. Most states all had that.
Is that on an interstate highway like 95, or are you on a?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, but of the four, let's see, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. Yeah, of the 4 states, Georgia by far had the best interstate system. They're way ahead of the traffic needs as far as lanes. Their signage is good. Everything was very well done.
South Carolina is probably the worst.
Yes, by far, easily.
It's the poorest of the 4 states, that's for sure.
Okay, and
their roads are horrible.
Yeah, and Florida, it's rough start. in the Jacksonville area coming into the state above Jacksonville, but it gets better the farther. By the time I got down to Fort Myers, man, it was wide open down there, and just as good. But I think 95 in general is pretty rough for Florida.
It's well driven, it's well traveled.
So, but the last thing, and I wish I could have found this tractor trailer again, because I really didn't understand the message. Like, did I miss something? So I'm coming up to pass it on its left side, on its driver's side, and that you can see the space between the trailer and the cab, and you can see the back of the cab. Yeah. Well, he had a message, or she had a message on the back of the cab that said, I'm going to read this verbatim: "I only jerked off twice today." In big letters painted on the cab. And I'm thinking, well, and I was trying to think, well, was he carrying beef jerky or, something, why would you write that on your cab? I don't.
Is that a trucker euphemism for,
you want to ask your young
from a trailer?
You want to ask?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me think how I'm going to couch this.
I can't wait to see what advertisements you get.
Okay, here we go. Alexa, is there a trucker euphemism about jerking off on the back of a tractor trailer?
I don't have information about specific trucker euphemisms for that activity. What made you curious about trucker terminology?
Well, Woody saw on the back of a cab the slogan, "I only jerked off twice today," on a tractor trailer. Any insight?
I don't have information about specific slogans on tractor trailers. What made you curious about those particular messages?
She will go down that route. I enjoy that activity.
That's it. Yeah.
I understand.
Whether it's truck.
I'd be happy to chat about other trucker culture topics.
Okay. Well, we're gonna shelve that conversation for later. Order me a case of lotion. All right, anyway. All right. Well, that's interesting, Woody. I don't know if I've ever heard that one before.
Yeah, and like I said, I wanted to. It was taking so long to register in my mind. I was like, "Did I just read that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And it's like,
did you find yourself slowing down, speeding up, slowing down?
I should have. I should have gotten in front of the truck.
What's it all about?
And then put my hand out the window with two fingers up, like, yeah.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, and just because of the position, I couldn't see who was driving. Any inkling to what kind of driver I saw there.
I'm gonna hope that it is something to do with the disengagement of a tractor trailer to its I don't know.
You know what? That at least is something that you might be onto something there. That because it's right there on the back where the hookup is. That's a good point, David. So
I'm going to leave it at that.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
Unless there's some sort of lot lizard thing that I'm not aware of. So who knows?
Like, don't bother knocking. I'm tired.
maybe that's it. It's an anti-lot lizard signal. Right. All right. For those of you that don't know, we're not going to expand on that. Anyway,
no, not at all. Not at all.
This is not for the kids in the back of the room.
No.
So okay. Well,
that made my trip.
Woody's road travels. That's pretty cool, man. You had some exciting times.
I wrote down some notes and got through them all. I don't see anything else there. If I think of something, I'll interject and interrupt you down the road here. So,
well, we did have a listener email that came in this week from.
That's right. We have 2 emails, but go ahead with yours first.
Mr. Pat Kelly, or he likes to say Patrick Kelly because he's
he's official. Yeah, he's uppity that way.
So he's an avid listener. We are thankful. He may be our only listener, to tell you the truth, but anyway, that's another story.
He's avid, nonetheless.
He's avid. But he was listening to our last show, and Woody and I both were stumbling to remember what the name of the formal name of the Sigma Chi formal, which I kept saying the no jacket required and the formal toga.
Yes, that's right.
But it was actually the Sweetheart Ball.
You want to explain what the Sweetheart of Sigma Chi is?
Well, the Sweetheart of Sigma Chi is a young lady who is the gold of her hair and the blue of her eyes, or a blend of the western skies.
Wow. Good
Yeah.
pull.
Anyway, so it's where we have a young lady, typically a fellow Greek from a sorority,
Right.
that we name and nominate as our sweetheart, and then we have a ball.
You know, she represents the fraternity from the female perspective, you know, and such things of that nature.
Well, and it's a Sigma Chi tradition. It goes all the way
Right.
back to there's movies.
In fact, that song, that song is sung in many a movie, and the sweetheart of Sigma Chi.
We sang it at my wedding and destroyed it, butchered it. It was horrible.
Did you?
Yeah.
I would have known. I didn't go to your wedding.
Well,
Not sure
why.
Invited. Oh, wait a second. That's right. I never got an invite. Thanks, Dave. I invited you to my wedding. I don't know why you didn't show up.
Well, I just felt bad.
Did I really? I don't even know if I did, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm sure I RSVP'd with something. Anyway,
I sent as many as I could. I wanted cash.
So he attached a link for both of us. And I think what he's doing here, he says, for the best vitamins and nutrients for your brain health, according to experts, a healthy diet is just one piece of the puzzle, reducing your dementia risks. Thanks, Pat. When it comes to keeping your brain healthy as you age, your diet plays a big role. I'm sure bourbon has something to do with it. Eating a variety of foods is critical to getting the vitamins and nutrients your brain needs to keep performing at its best. But the best vitamins for brain health may help. All right. Well, anyway, so he's got a nice article that we should look into about how do we keep our brain healthy.
If I can remember to read up on it, I will.
Yeah. So, Pat Kelly, you're always there when we need you, and we appreciate you so much. Not unlike our buddy Danny.
Let's say, he just saves us from time to time as well.
Yeah, Danny up in Virginia. Danny and I had some good teacher conversations this past week. He had 4 days of snow days. I think he ended up having 5. I think he ended up going Monday through Friday. So that was pretty fun. He and I text each other back and forth. Last year I had snow days. Of course, they were hurricane days, but this year no hurricanes for us. So we didn't.
Yeah, you lucked out in that sense. I'm trying to think. Didn't one?
Well, one came in from the East Coast, but it never made it all the way into land.
You got to stop taking big sips.
That stuff's taking my breath away.
You got to wonder what else is going on the other side of that microphone.
All right. Anyway, so thanks, Pat Kelly, and we love you, brother. And as you will always find it right there.
Yeah.
All right.
When you do that, when you drink too much, you give a sallow look.
Painful?
No.
Sallow.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. I haven't done this in a while.
Well, you've done it. I just haven't bitten. I've heard them.
No, actually, I will stop you if you hear them and if I'm using them trying to chip you up. But in this one, I thought you might know this.
Sallow. Sure, I know this one. This is
because I was taken back. I said it. Someone said it to me, and then I said it to my wife. She goes, "Yeah, that's this." And I'm like, "Well, it's like I've never heard this, but yet everybody else seems to know it."
It's in the kinship of solemn, a serious, sad look.
Cliff Clavin.
What you got there is solemn.
In the days of Solomon and Gomorrah,
What they would do is instead of they were sad, they said sallow.
It's not quite that. It's actually sickly looking, or a person looks sick. So you have a sallow look.
That's the look I give when I'm putting down $60 bottles of bourbon.
Yeah, exactly. It hurt me too. Right in my pocketbook.
Okay.
If I carried a pocketbook.
It's European, a man purse. All right. So you had an email. Do we want to go there? Your email?
Yeah. Because I think it's a good time of year. And I forgot to pre-discuss something with you, our schedules here, but so it's coming up on Christmas time, and we had an email asking, because we do try to give advice to younger listeners and draw in some younger listeners out there. What do you buy dads for Christmas gifts? And I'll go first and say, really, I don't need any personally. I don't need anything, right?
Can you hold that just for a second? Can you go back to your dad? And I'm gonna go back to my dad. Was there something that your dad religiously got for Christmas?
No. Other than maybe it was usually sports related, maybe and tie into their favorite team or something. But no, it was never that easy. So
Old Spice.
Really?
My dad was an Old Spice aftershave guy, and every year
you got a year's worth.
You remember it came in that you took the little pin out of it, and it kind of, what's that thing? I don't want to say jiggered it, but it was
it's got like a soy sauce top on it. Yeah, like a soy sauce top on it. Yeah,
I like Old Spice. I think I'm gonna get me a bottle of it this week.
I'm using the Old Spice deodorant.
Yeah. I can't do that, but Old Spice. That was something that Dad got every year.
Oh, you were lucky then that you could come through with just something. And did you do this up to this last year with you?
The only sad thing is, upon his death, we had to go through his things, and there was 52 cases of Old Spice in his closet.
He hated it. He just put it away every year.
There were notes that like, please stop this. Now, we did find a bunch of it, but I think we bought so much they couldn't get through it all. But,
if you can latch on to something like that, my grandmother was that way. We gave her Estee Lauder or whatever stuff every single Christmas because she didn't want to spend the money on it, but she loved it. So we did that. But buying for parents is tough, right?
Well, go back to current time now. That was my little segue.
Yeah, I really don't. It's more about thought than it is about the gift, right? The idea you even thought of something, or it can be, and it doesn't have to be even, it could be something that costs $1. Like, for instance, for my father this year, and I know he's not active anymore or anything like that. And he's always said, I have more than I need, so don't worry about gifts. But that's why I bought him. He lives in California, so I bought him Buc-ee's. It's paraphernalia. I bought a Buc-ee's deck of cards. And what the hell else did I get? He lives with my brother, so I bought my brother a Buc-ee's bottle opener. I said, well, here's your gift to take this gift back with you to California. So hopefully he's not listening to this prior to Christmas. I just now he's going to know exactly what he's getting. Well, maybe he
didn't make it through TSA. He didn't drive back to California, did he?
No. He flew. Flew. So, but yeah, so that's what I did. So it's really hard. I'm happy, with nothing, right?
What about golf balls?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Something of that nature, something golf related, or my teams are the Rams and the New York Mets. For the most part, in the colleges and stuff, the kids usually buy me a hat or something along those lines. So I'm happy with anything, I guess, is what I would say. It's more about the thought than it is the possession in my case.
Well, it is tough the older we get.
The less we need. And in today's society, you just buy what you need,
Yeah. Well, my oldest daughter has been on a cigar trip the last couple, which is very nice. But so I told her this year, I said, don't do that, because she ends up buying, she buys stuff that the thought is definitely there, and I'm very appreciative, but it just stuff that she finds and says, I think he likes cigars, so we'll get him that. So I'm very appreciative of it. I just don't want her to waste any money on that.
I would tell her to go down 95 this year to one of those Florida gift stores and get one of those giant foot-long 2-inch wide cigars they sell in the shop. I remember in high school, we took a senior cruise out of the Miami port. So we had to take a bus from Daytona Beach to Miami, and one of the guys bought one of those cigars and lit it up in the bus.
Oh, God.
It was the most hideous smelling thing. And it's so dry, it burned through it in like 3 puffs. It's like starting a bonfire in the back.
I was going to share with you. I had this concept that I was going to start. It was called Cool. I don't know if I should say this, but Cool Man Loot. Do you hear the
yes,
Cool Hand Luke?
Cool
Man Loot. And there's a company out there that does this online where they get you this cool stuff. But anyway, here's a little something I was talking about the pre-show. Every guy, I think, should have a penknife. It's something we don't carry anymore. This was my
well,
father's.
if you travel, you can't.
Well, right? I thought about that, and I can't take it to school either.
Well, I would hope not.
It's a penknife. I mean, you clean your fingernails with it. hey, Junior, come here, let me stab you. You know, when we were kids, we had a story locally this past couple weeks ago. A 5th grader or 4th grader got arrested in a 2nd-degree felony for having a pocket knife. It was like a 4-inch knife in his backpack, and they carted him off to juvie. And I'm thinking, when we were kids...
Yeah, your internet just interrupted.
Well, I was thinking, when we were kids, we used to get we all had pocket knives, and we played Numbly Peg. Do you know what Numbly Peg is in the front yard?
We'll go ahead and explain it, because I don't want to butcher it in case I don't have it right.
Well, I mean, it's a game that when you had a pocket knife, you threw it with the blade open, you threw it ahead of you, hopefully, into the let's see. Hold on, let's see. Into the ground. Alexa, what is the general rules of the game Numbly Peg?
I thought it was an M.
Mumbly Peg, also called Mumblety Peg, is a classic outdoor game played with pocket knives. Players take turns throwing their knives into the ground, trying to stick them as close to their own feet as possible. The loser often has to pull a peg out of the ground with their teeth.
Oh, you see, well, the rule's a little different in my neighborhood.
Well,
we threw it into the competitor's feet. So you stood like, maybe this is what you stand 3 feet apart. And every time I got the knife, if I got the knife to stick between your feet, you had to put them closer together.
Well, we started off with Mumbly Peg, and then we got lawn darts.
Yeah, we've had this discussion on the show about
I don't want to go down that path again, but it was a form of Mumbly Peg with lawn darts.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like your two friends stand close together.
Until the neighbor's mom came running out the back door and said, "No, don't do that." Anyway, but every young boy had a pocket knife when he was 9, 10, 11, or 12. And you put it in your pocket and you took it to school. I mean, it's gotten crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, what's lost is, and I don't like that zero tolerance policies everybody lays on. That's like saying, you know, when people ask you to make a decision, or they'll answer with, well, I'm going to do this. And then you can't change your mind, right? It's like nothing is permanent. So use a little common sense. Like, why was the knife in his backpack? Did he go to Boy Scouts the night before and had it in the backpack and forgot about it? You know, I mean, take a little time to understand the situation and then adjudicate afterwards. Now, if you brought it to school to stab little Johnny, then hell yeah, you should go to juvie.
Well, I think it was a shiv on the playground. Basically, they were
things are getting rough.
Lunch money. You're not taking my lunch money again. No, I don't know.
The seesaw's getting rough.
You know? I don't know about. And to your point, that's a good point. But it's just, I don't know. We've lost it. But
well, I think because and then because if you base your punishment on the intent of the crime, then people scream, by that there's bias in your decision, right? And all that kind of stuff. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you're stuck having to stick with these decisions that can't change. And that's why, some kid brought a knife to school to hurt somebody, or somebody got hurt because someone brought a knife to school. So then you have to impose a rule, no knives at school. And you have to make sure that you set the bar that, that nobody can do it, whether it's a mistake or not. And so, so that'll go on this juvie record then, huh?
I don't know. I mean, apparently when you're a juvenile, that doesn't carry, you know what I mean? Until you're 18, then it gets...
it washes, supposedly. But, in this day and age, because the internet is forever, when Johnny goes to get a job when he's 26 years old, they're going to run his name and say, hey, You're a juvenile delinquent that brought a knife to school. You think I
Well,
want to hire you?
unless he's going to work at Bass Pro Shop or something like that.
Yeah, well, then he might be a shoo-in. Or he's a guard at a prison. They'll
He's
fit
working
right
in the
in.
gun and knife section of Bass Pro Shop. He gets a
Oh,
raise.
That's right.
Anyway,
So,
all right. Well, good show.
yeah, I mean, we're running up against it. Is there anything? So, if we were the next 2 weeks, I think we should take off because it'll be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. The next 2 weeks.
What about our listeners?
I don't know.
Don't we owe them something?
We always say we can run the best of, just
that
go
works out
way back in the thing. Instead of me putting a show out there to listen to, just zoom up on the thing and hit play on whatever episode.
Just roll right through it and just randomly pick one.
I mean, we have 126 episodes to pick from. Now, if we had a really true quality listener out there, they would go back to the prior 126, including tonight, and pick out the best moments of each 126, put that together as a compilation over the next 2 weeks. But we'll talk offline. So if you don't see us drop one in the next 2 weeks, it's because I won out on the argument. And
no, I'm not against it because,
yeah, timing wise and stuff, it's just a tough with the Christmas and New Year's falling in kind of midweekish. It's tough to put some stuff together.
I think it's an opportunity for us to have a little solidarity since we're up against negotiations for contracts to let them know, we do what we want to do. And,
okay. Well,
and if you don't like it, you can start cutting the check a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Make it worth my while.
Yeah. To come in on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
I'll tell you what, I'll go to Mass on Christmas Eve and I'll just start recording during Mass. I mean, I'll whisper like this and I'll sit in the back.
That's not going to be a good idea.
In Jesus' name, amen.
You're going to have to put posters along the side of the road. Don't do that. Oh, I did have one more thing. So to what he's saying is I'm out of school. Friday is my last day. And we're going to take 2 weeks off, I guess. We go back in January sometime, January 5th or 6th.
Well, if it's a Monday, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? The 5th is a Monday, probably. So,
what are you doing? Some kind of genius math over there? What is that?
Well, I just remembered that. Yeah, it is a Monday. 5th is a Monday because I was figuring.
You a savant?
No, New Year's Day is Thursday. That's 1. Now do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 4 days.
5 minutes to Wapner.
Yeah.
I'm a good driver.
Yeah, exactly. And I just opened my calendar on Google, and it is.
There's that.
Yes, there is technology. So,
well, let me ask you this: is our one of our production people coming in from the big overseas?
Yes. So that also puts a little bit of on the video portion of our show. So we'll figure if we want to do something, we can.
I know. How long is she able to keep doing this?
As long as I pay for her software to do it.
No. I'm talking about what she's doing without giving too much.
As long as it's sponsored.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does she have a limited time? I remember my gig was 6 months at a time.
Well, she was on a student visa, and now she's being sponsored by her current employer. And I don't know all the time. I don't know the mechanics of the England's work visas and things of that nature, how long they last, or does she have to become a citizen or any of that stuff? I don't know those timelines. So it's different depending on the industry you're in. And, because she went to school there, that buys her some other...
But she's having a good time. That's all.
Yes, and that's why she's still there. Because if she was miserable, she'd be living off the parents tab at this point. Okay. So, no, very proud of her. All my kids, as you are with yours, I'm sure.
Couple.
Yeah.
I won't
mention which one. Yeah, I should say a couple of them. It doesn't narrow it down very well. But yeah, we're up against it, man. So it's,
I know.
So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year if we don't talk to you. How about that?
I like it. Merry Christmas indeed. All right. I'm not going to have my separation anxiety tonight. I'm going to sign off.
Oh, very good.
Guard well.
All right.
Later.
Later.